Welcome to the Bleed Big Blue podcast, dedicated coverage of the New York Football Giants by your hosts, Marco, Trifecta, T. Merritt, and JBW.
Today should be a good show. Today should be a dynamite one. We have a special guest caller calling in a little bit. Currently, I have James on the line. I have Justin on the line. You are listening to the Bleed Big Blue podcast. Gentlemen, how's your day been going?
It's good to be back.
Eventful day.
Eventful. I know. I feel the same. It is good to be back into the swing of things. Sorry, my headphones popped out for a second.
You're on a headphone?
Are we up
That's
live
so
and streaming? Yes. Are we up live and streaming? All the peeps. Let me know.
919. Joining in.
What's going on, guys? What's up?
Big Tim, what's going on,
Tim's
buddy?
in. Tim.
Yes.
Hear your voice.
Yeah, it's good to hear you, man. You've been on vacation for like 8 weeks.
Reunited, and it feels so good. Are we going to get shut down for that if we sing?
No, that might have been more.
I know I've got to shut down numerous times for playing the song before.
You would know that.
Oh, why wouldn't you know that? Justin, can I get a second on that? How don't you know Reunited?
Yeah,
no,
that's
I'm not talking about the song. I'm saying you wouldn't know how to shut us down.
Oh, I definitely would know how to shut us down. I thought Russell Baxter was going to report me to the football gods today. I didn't know what was going on.
He was going to Marco to tell on you.
I didn't know.
And then he even made fun of me. Then he even made fun of me for like trying. I was like, Marco, you may get a call, and I was like joking around, and he like tweeted me like, oh, this jerk thinks I'm actually going to call about him. I was like, no, Russ. I didn't think that.
A bunch of people saying that the audio is too low. Is this correct? Let me know, gentlemen. I don't think so. On my phone, it seems to be going nicely.
Turn it up.
Let's give a shout out to Mort.
Yeah.
Mort who?
You didn't hear about that, Justin?
No, what happened?
So the whole time in my bio and Russell Baxter, right, out of all people to point it out to me, Russell Baxter, right? So here's what happened. Somebody made a comment about Penn State not putting out any quality talent in the NFL in the last 20 to 25 years. And I think the quote actually was, Penn State has not had anyone, there's been no one impactful out of Penn State for the last blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, their coaches have been impactful.
Oh. Oh, God.
And that's it. And I was like, and that's all I said. And around a half hour after I was done, making my funny, I had stopped thinking about it, and all of a sudden my phone goes off, and it's Russell Baxter, and he's like, "Are you serious? Like, really?" And I was like, "Are you serious? Like, really? Like, I don't know what. Like, why are you mad at me? Like, I didn't cover anything up. Like, I wasn't in the shower. Like, I'm asking the question." So then I replied. I was like, what's funny is I didn't say that they were impactful in a positive or a negative way. I just said that they were impactful. Right. That's where your head went.
People insinuate what they meant.
The defense rests because, I mean, come on, that's the first thing you thought of. So then, much like Carl Banks, where it started off with a little friction, we became BFFs. And Russ actually ended up pointing out to me that this whole time in my Facebook bio, right, instead of @BleedsBigBlue, I had @BleedBigBlue. And BleedBigBlue is the link to some D-bag named Mort, who's a Giants fan, who's probably like sending back fucking soup at the diner.
Mort? Yes. See,
I mean,
for some
the
odd
CEO,
reason, Mort,
Mort.
CEO
Bleed Big Blue. That.
And he tried to juice me for $1,000 to get the name Bleedbigblue to get me to.
That's actually. I
name.
thought you guys were joking around. Because then I went and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I can't be this dumb. Then I went to the site and I was like, holy shit, it's Bleedbigblue. And then I went back and I was like, Bleedbigblue. I was like, oh my god. I was like, I'm so confused. I was like, who's more? This guy's playing a huge joke on me. I didn't know what was going on. I knew we had Pepper going on tonight. It was absolutely insane.
I will say,
how long have you been on the show?
Been on 2.5 years.
Oh, it's
been on Twitter for what? 2 years? Two years maybe? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I just started really using it.
He's just figuring it out.
I got a job. I got shit to do. I can't just, I didn't realize that there was an S but Russell out of all people, right, after me making a horrible pedophile stupid joke, Russell Baxter decides to say, okay, well, he decides to help us out. And then he tweets that we're the bestest of buddies now. And to tune into the podcast because we got Pepper Johnson on. So thank you, Russell Baxter. That was awesome. 48,000 followers on Twitter, legit source. I always wondered why he doesn't have the blue check mark, though. Why don't you think he has the blue check mark?
I hear that they're
Valid
taking
question.
a lot of blue check marks. I hear that they're taking a lot of blue check marks away.
I heard that you can request that you don't have one. Right? Like, hey, I don't want a blue check mark or something like that. Doesn't Portnoy have that? Portnoy's like, I don't want a blue check mark or something like that.
I would love a blue check mark.
Like, why wouldn't you want one?
By the way,
I don't know.
If you're listening, hook me up with the blue check mark. Let's be friends.
So, guys, if you're listening, right, the call-in number, 516-453-9383, 516-453-9383. Ton to get into tonight. Ton. Right? We got Pepper Johnson, who could be calling in, two-time Giant Super Bowl champion, 1986, Super Bowl 21, 1990, Super Bowl 25. You millennials, if you're not familiar with those teams, go check out number 52, Pepper Johnson, middle linebacker for the Giants. He's going to be on with us in the next 10 minutes or so. He's supposed to be calling in around 10:15. We got camp about to start. We got Gettleman, God bless. How about that, gentlemen? In remission.
Yep.
Beautiful thing.
Yes.
Right. Let's get the blessings out of the way for Gettleman before we get started on Sam Beal, and then OBJ contract, good behavior. He's been baptized. Instagram post.
Right. He's found
What's
the
it
Lord.
all mean?
He's found the
What's
Lord.
it all mean? So what do we want to get into for the first couple of minutes before we get Pepper can call in any minute. That stops the whole show. So what do we want to get into before Pepper rings our bell?
Well, before we get into anything deep, I just want to give a shout out to Annette, who is always on it, and Facebook just alerted me, and they put a star around her, and she's a top fan. So Annette, Annette's the MVP.
Oh yeah, that's always.
Is Annette married?
Yeah.
Annette, yes, Annette.
Her husband's called it all the time.
Annette's married.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
There's another good
you
one.
were listening to, but I'm pretty sure there were relations going on between Annette and her husband live during the show.
That is.
Yes, I
we
do
can get
remember
that audio.
I do remember
Are you serious?
The only person that had live relations on the show was me.
That's not now. I mean, we've unveiled a whole other,
If I remember correctly,
I'm completely befuddled.
They were listening to us in bed. So our voices are what they're thinking of. Doing what they got to do.
I can see that.
You're welcome.
I mean,
can
that's
totally see
spectacular.
And
Hold on.
Russell, yes, this is what goes on our podcast. Thank you, Russell. Thank you for tuning in.
He's not listening. There's no way. Do you think there's any way that he's listening to us juveniles going like, "Hey, listen, Annette, tell him to
I'll just slip it in.
Tell him to slip it in."
I'll just slip it in.
So just Annette, yeah.
I'll just slip it in.
Flip it in.
How excited are you guys?
And make her say,
oh my God.
And then tell her you'll be.
Oh boy, back after this.
You know what? It's a way better mood in this show now that football season started.
I know.
Again.
Football's here.
Odell, dip your head.
All right. So, do you want to actually cover some football today?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm just having fun. I'm in a good mood. Let's go. Captain Negative's in a good mood.
Hold on. Can we mention two things that are not Giants football related?
Yeah.
First of all, we want to send the show's best wishes to our favorite celebrity, Demi Lovato. Demi,
yes.
We're with you.
Yes.
We wish you the best.
Thank you, Justin.
And, we're here for you.
Always.
We need some guys to talk to.
Yes. What did you think? Go ahead.
Secondly, and this one hits a little bit closer to home for all of New York, we'd like to just make mention of what happened at the New York Daily News this week, a New York institution. It's a shame that a newspaper of that caliber was gutted in the fashion that it was. And, we'll always remember the Daily News for the way that they brought New York to the people.
I have a question about that. There's a few people. I didn't really go into depth on who got released.
Who got chicaned?
Unfortunately, yeah. There are a bunch of Giants. There were a bunch of reporters in the editorial room. I know Justin knows one of them as well that were following me. I don't know their statuses.
So
let's see if we can get one of them on. You think they would talk about it? I doubt they would talk about it, right?
I will say, this is what I can say. My contact at the Daily News is safe. He also did confirm for me that Pat Leonard is also safe. So Pat, congratulations.
Pat's safe.
But
Awesome.
the sports department has 9 total reporters.
Yeah, and they let go Frank Isola. I guess you got to let go of the big names if you're trying to save some cash. But
correct.
Are they hiring? Let's send in some resumes. Maybe they're looking for some up and comers.
Is that what we are?
It's what we could be for the right price. Come on.
We're established.
For the right price? Are you kidding me?
I think their right price is minimal. I think that's the issue too. But James, we're going on the morning show for WFAN.
I would. Yes, we should be.
Who else do they have?
I don't know who they have now. It's like Boomer and like a cast of characters. Like we would be so much better in the morning. If we had to plan for it and people were paying it and that was our job, are you kidding me? We'd run circles around them.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. It's pretty painful over there.
I can't listen to it anymore. Go ahead. We gotta. Do we know where Pep's calling in from?
Yeah, I can tell you the number, kind of. Let me look at the area code. I'll give you the area code. How about that?
Well, that's all I want because we got a call coming in, and
the area code is going to be 845.
Ladies and gentlemen, listening to the Bleed Big Blue podcast, it is my absolute pleasure to bring on 2-time Super Bowl champion with the Giants, Super Bowl 21, Super Bowl 25, and 3-time Super Bowl champion, coach with the Patriots. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pepper Marshall. Well, Pepper Johnson. What? I'm sorry. My God, I'm so nervous.
Oh, my God.
Wait,
I'm so nervous, Pepper.
I'm
so
nervous, Mr. Johnson.
That was a good one.
Mr. Johnson, I'm so
you
nervous.
Salivating at the mouth.
Let me tell you something. I remember you dancing.
Do you remember?
I was eight years old. Remember you dancing, celebrating in '86, and I've been such a huge fan of yours throughout your career. We wanted you so bad to be our defensive coordinator. It is an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. I'm glad to be on the show. And thank you for that compliment of wanting me to be the defensive coordinator. I wish I was. That would have been a dream come true.
We were really bad. We will send you the archives where we talk about it on a fairly regular basis, even with some of your colleagues who kind of hinted that maybe this could happen. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if there was any actual talk or if it was just rumors and innuendo.
If they listen to this podcast, there was talk.
I interviewed, but it was one of those interviews that I think it just went to mainly to calm down. Calm down you guys, calm down some of the press and media pressure that they was getting. It wasn't like really a true.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always, it's always scary. That's kind of the thing that you put yourself in that position. I put myself in that position, whether they're going to, just bring you out to pick your brain, or you're truly interviewing for a job.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Did you have that feeling going into the interview, or you kind of realized when you were in the midst?
No, I had that feeling going into because I didn't know. I didn't know if it was going to be true or not. But I got such a warm welcome from everybody when I walked in the door. So many familiar faces and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as time elapsed a little bit, then I got the feeling that it was more of brain picking than true.
Than anything here.
Well, Pep, it is great having you on the show. If you don't mind, I want to talk a little bit about the glory days, like when we got a lot of young Giant fans on the show. We have had in the past the pleasure to speak to Gary Reasons, Myron Guyton.
Nice.
Actually, I reached out to Gary Reasons today over Facebook, and I said, Pep's coming on. Do you want to surprise him? And he was a little busy, but he says he sends his best. And he's going to probably be on with us in the fall, so maybe we could link you guys up. But, in 1986, you walk in with the Giants. You walk in as a rookie. Parcells is there. You step into that locker room, and you're surrounded by, Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks. And, at that point, George Martin was on the team in 1986. What was it like to be a rookie? Take us into that locker room with those personalities, Parcells, a young Belichick. What was that like for you coming in your rookie season?
Well, it was a blessing that I had Carl Banks there because I knew Carl, being a Flint native, and the times when I visited Michigan State and playing against him and stuff like that in college. So we already had a history. So coming to the Giants, he was big brother before I ever got there. So he kind of helped me learn some of the coaches and what to do and what not to do. I tell a lot of people about, especially when I was coaching, about the first time Coach Parcells called himself giving us the night off, but it was really Wellington Mara, but Parcells tried to claim that he gave us the night off. And we had a suite, so all the linebackers were in this suite. And Banks, when he was leaving out, Banks saw me, getting dressed in the mirror. And he was like, "Where you going?" And I was like, "Hey, man, night off. I mean, curfew pushed back, right?" He was like, "Yeah, but where you going?" I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm going out too." And he was like, You know all your defenses?" I said, "Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I know all my defenses." He do you know everything I do? Do you know everything the secondary do? Right then, I started unbuttoning my shirt and just I knew what he meant. And it was like he didn't have to say any more. And he just turned away and he walked away. And Pep was in his playbook, and everybody did a little night on the town and had an extra hour to stay out. But that was that group. George Martin, Harry Carson, those guys, we weren't even allowed to. These guys nowadays, they have TV screens, everybody watching ESPN, everybody watching highlights and all that stuff. Harry and George, they wouldn't even allow us to watch TV. We weren't even allowed to bring the newspapers into the locker room. They was like, we don't need to deal with that. And I know they read the papers, you know, in Ronnie's office back in the training room or something. But it was a standard. It was a way of life that those guys already were accustomed to, and that's how they was regulating the defense, and regulating the team in the locker room. So you had to fall suit, or you weren't going to be welcome, and we was going to get you out of there. It's okay. Well, they was going to get you out of there. See, I said we because I grew up into it real fast.
I love it. And that's what I, you know, that fan base, our fan base, especially the guys my age now in our early 40s, you know, we grew up with you guys, and that is the Giants' way for us. That's the Giants' pride that we talk about getting back to this season, where, you know, it's that defense, it's that hard-nosed mentality where it's just that team that's going to, you know, break your will in the fourth quarter, and that's what you guys had. And especially in that 86 season, that team was so dominant. You know, that playoff run. But, you know, leading up, you know, throughout the first couple of years of your career, Pep, you played a lot, you know, 74 tackles your second year, 87 in year three. In 89, though, there's a question that I have to ask because I still have bad dreams about it. And I asked Gary about it, and I asked Myron about it, so I have to ask you. 89, right, you had a great year, interception for a touchdown, 39-yarder that year, 61 tackles. Huge contributor on that defense. Parcells, I remember saying in an interview that team might have been the most talented out of even the 86 or the 90 teams that won the Super Bowl. The Flipper Anderson game, does that not still make you completely nauseous to this day?
Oh, yes. That was it was ridiculous. You know we It's certain teams. It's certain teams for whatever reason. I know, and Parcells would hate to hear me say this, but it's just saying like certain teams just kind of had your number. Mm-hmm. And the Rams. If I don't know about our history, the exact history with the Rams, but I'm quite sure they beat us more times than we beat them, and they might be the only team that have done that. We had them. We let them come back. They tied the score up, going to overtime, one freaking play. And it's like, is this real? I mean, is this real? But now I also have to say that was the slap in the face for all the things we were arguing about, that we were kind of debating and having doubts that season, and myself. Like I held out the first couple of games of the season.
I noticed you only played 14 games that year. Yeah, yes. You missed the first 2 games of the season. Exactly. I didn't know that. I didn't remember that. I learned that when I went back and took a look at it. You only played 14, and then I saw there was the 2-game holdout.
Yeah, so it's to me, when I look at it in hindsight, it was kind of like the Bears to in '85 when the Giants go out there and lose to those guys in the playoffs, and you know they got beat by some true champions. But it made everybody tight-faced. It made everybody so focused in 1986 that I just caught on that train. So in '89, when we took that tumble, it left such a bitter taste in our mouth to go around to 90 to just that we're not doing that again. And when we did falter took our first loss to Philadelphia, then go back there and play a barn burner. To me, no one doesn't look at the game against San Francisco as one of the better football games ever played because the score was 7-3. But
that was a hell of a football game in San Francisco that night.
When you take two strong teams, that should be the score. You shouldn't have. It shouldn't be. I know a lot of people not going to, especially Philly fans, not going to want to hear this. But
we're with you. We're with you.
Like last year's Super Bowl. I mean, this year's Super Bowl. It shouldn't look like that. That's not good football to me. There's nobody playing defense. It was one ball punted the whole time. That's not good defense on either side of the ball. But when we played against San Francisco, we went out there and we played against those guys. It was Monday night. It was a lot of hype, and still today. And you guys might, if you do your homework, or you might already know that. I know then, and it carried for maybe like 12 or 14 years later. That was the first time in the first week that every team that was winning their division at that time in week 11 lost.
Yeah.
We lost. San Francisco lost. You know what I mean? Every team that was leading their division lost that week. And so now we play San Francisco the Monday night game. And, the big lead up was they wanted two undefeated teams, but both of us was 10-1, and something had to give, and it was us. And so now, okay, we're the team 10-2, and it was two strong opponents who we're playing against, who we lose against, and now Buffalo come to town, and it's supposed to be the new powerhouse, and we lose Phil Simms, and we lose early, and then we lose the game. Now people start trying to count us out, but myself, we go back to the Rams game in 1989, and that taste, and we have to stop this bleeding. We have to stop this dam, and not just with Band-Aids or a thumb. We have to stop the bleeding, and we had that in us. We knew that we had it in us. With Hostetler, Phil Simms, whoever quarterbacking, we was going to make it happen. We was going to support that guy, and sure enough, pretty much the rest is history. I don't even have to say anything anymore.
No,
because the rest is history. We went out the rest of the regular season, and we put people on their back during the season, and during the playoffs, and had a wonderful Super Bowl.
You guys played a team, like you were just saying now, so this Super Bowl was up and down. It was crazy. Well, the first team that I remember, which was, San Francisco's offense was always good. The Rams had good offenses. There were teams that had good offenses. But when I remember that first, wow offense was that no-huddle Buffalo offense, that run-and-shoot offense that they ran. And going into that game, and I know the game plan with Belichick, right? So here we are, the Giants, we're this big bruising team. We're going to stop the run. We have these four linebackers that are going to punch you in the face. And Belichick comes into you guys and says, all right, well, here's the game plan. I'm going to take some of my linebackers off the field, and we're going to go more of a nickel. Was it so much that this is Bill Belichick and what we've done, that this is such a buy-in that it doesn't matter, we're all in? Or if you know that you're going to lose some snaps in what might be the biggest game, of your life, take us inside that mindset of, how's that balance go, as I want to play every play, but, the game plan may be call for a little something different.
Yeah, well, I wasn't coming off the field, so I didn't.
No. In general, not you, but not you, but the other, the whole mindset was different going into that game, as it was the nickels more of you and Banks were going to be on the field. Yeah, go ahead.
The biggest thing what Bill said to us that was very disturbing was, let me tell you the whole story. We got time.
Yes, please.
Bill comes in the meeting when we first get out there, because we had to fly straight from San Francisco out to Tampa, and he comes in the meeting the next morning and asks how many guys want to be the most valuable player in the Super Bowl, and I raised both of my hands. Everybody in the room pretty much raised their hands. You would like to have that. So then he goes on and he starts to read an article where I think they were originally they started off with Andre Reed and said that he referred to himself as being the Michael Jordan of the Buffalo Bills. And then Thurman Thomas said, no, he can't be. I'm the Michael Jordan of the Buffalo Bills. And then Jim Kelly says he's the Michael Jordan of the Buffalo Bills. And they finished the article with Bruce Smith saying, all of those guys are crazy. I am the Michael Jordan of the Buffalo Bills. And what Bill was saying, what he was talking about, his point he was trying to make with that article was, here we go with the K gun, and Jim Kelly pretty much calls the plays. We are going to let Thurman Thomas run for 100 yards, and we're going to win the ball game. And everybody like, come on, Bill, yeah, right, all right. And now, mind you, once again, I don't, you guys was kind of young, but we haven't given up a 100-yard rusher in like 2 years.
All year? Yeah.
We haven't given up a 100-yard rusher.
That's why I asked the question, because to go into that game and say, to think that the way you guys played, for Belichick to come in and switch it up, I can only imagine what your mindset was, or it's insane to even switch it up
get
like
serious,
that. Totally
Bill.
Against what
we
we
were
were.
Like, get serious, Bill. It's like, come on, man. Hey, stop joking. You got us with the, everybody want to be the MVP, and yeah, those guys think they Michael Jordan of the team, and this, that, and other, but come on, get to the game plan. And he was like, no. He said, and he called it. I got to admit, he called it, and you can ask some of those other guys. He called it that he said, if Thurman Thomas runs for 100 yards, they get into a crucial situation like they did, do you think Jim Kelly is going to pass the ball to Thurman Thomas and give him more yards, or do you think he's going to throw the ball to somebody else? Do you think he's going to throw it to Andre Reed if Andre Reed already have 100 yards catching and a couple of touchdowns? You think he's going to throw it to somebody else? He's going to try to be the hero. Remember that last drive he scrambled. I chased him down. I should have had a sack, but I chased him down and catch him. It kind of got to that. They ran Thurman. He runs around the side and runs out of bounds, and he predicted that, and we all. But that was us. That was the team, and that was what Coach Parcells created, putting all of us on the in the same locker room and on the field together. That we were gonna do what he said. We were going to, regardless, however the outcome came, that we were going to take that game plan and make it work some kind of way, and which we did. Because I know myself, I was upset. Normally, I just play defensive end on third down, and when they was running the ball up in the inside, and I'm not a factor because I'm over on the outside, I'm shaking my head, and I'm having my doubts. But Thurman is creasing us. The run was running right up the middle, and that's my stomping grounds. So I didn't like that. But I watched our offense grind and wear those guys down, and what Coach Parcells told us what we was going to do, that we was going to pound them, and the defense is not going to play a lot of plays because we're going to try to control the ball, and that's what we did. And the outcome come out favorable for us.
Yeah, man. I mean, wide right. I mean, to this day, it's it still lives in infamy. Wide right. I mean, you just say it as a Giants fan, you know exactly what it means. You know, remember where we were when that kick was missed. So we were right there with you. You mentioned Parcells, and it was always Parcells has his guys, right? The Parcells guys, and you were always one of them. And you were always one of those guys that you went and you played for him, with the Jets. And then, and you were with New England, with Belichick as well. So, you were with both of them. Can you take us, like, maybe the similarities and the differences between, some of the, greatest coaches in NFL history?
It's like a no-brainer to me because of Parcells. And granted, I've had some great times with Coach Belichick, and the relationship is different because we did morning work, afternoon work, and evening work of Belichick, just talking to me and teaching me football. But I learned those final words. I learned that direction and all that from Coach Parcells. And that guy is, it'll be hands down. Like I said, it's hands down to me because that's where I started. And I didn't, yes, I played for 4 teams, but like you said, my first 5 years in the league is with Parcells. I do a couple with Ray Hanley, and Coach Belichick, my 13 years of playing, I'm up under him 10 of those years in some capacity. My 17 years of coaching, I'm up under Belichick 14 to some capacity. So I have a lot of years of experience with him, but everything filters back to like what we did and what we accomplished with the Giants. And I know Belichick got, with his father, and he had a lot of other coaches that he kind of taken bits and pieces from those guys, but it's just it's so much Parcells that lingers, with everything that we did over there in New England. So
you saw it a little bit in that. Yeah, you saw it a little bit in that ESPN thing, the 2 Bills, where it seemed like Belichick still looked up to for all Belichick has accomplished on his own, where he still sort of had that little glint in his eye for Parcells, like, that respect and that recognition of, like, if not for you. And it resonated, at least for me, watching that, and it's funny that you would say that while you're on with us.
Exactly, because when the man spoke and when he talked to us about the game plan, this is how the game is going to be played, and this is what we're going to do. You knew that he was holding everybody responsible for their jobs, and go out and do your job. And he had that little way of like Belichick. If Belichick don't talk to you, then you're in trouble. you know you're in trouble. If he's saying something to you, it's okay. But once he turn and he don't have anything to say to you, there's a problem. But you're never going to get a pat on the back. Parcells, on the other hand, you bum stare to play out there on the field. He's going to make sure when you walk into the sideline that he get in your path where you have to confront him, you have to walk by him, and those last 5 steps are so it's so hurtful because he's getting ready to say something that's just going to be a little stinger to you. And I was very fortunate that I've watched a lot of people, I've witnessed a lot of people get that little sting and that little extra jab, and I didn't get too many of those.
No, yeah, I mean, there's videos of him doing it to Taylor, and he's doing it. It was barking at Sims a bunch of times, but I don't remember him really going after Pep too much.
Oh, wait a minute. hey, we're telling those stories, right? So I have to tell this story.
Let's go. You can stay on all night with us, Pep.
Oh, yeah, I like to run my mouth. I like to run my mouth.
I love it.
Jackie is going to kill me. She's like, Pepper, don't talk the whole show, but I'm going to talk the whole show.
Baby, talk the whole show.
My rookie year, we are. I'm pretty sure it was San Diego. I can't remember. We won the game, so it was 86, and we're on kick. I'm on kick return, and I blocked my man. I had my face in his chest and the whole nine, and I dogged him. Right. I'm walking over to the sideline, so I get that maneuvering by Parcells, and this is the first one. I've never done this early in the year, so I didn't even know about it. I didn't even know this was his tendency. So he says, next time, get your effing block. And I, being that little smart rookie dummy that I was, I look around like, who is he talking to? And then I look back and look at him, and I said, I blocked my man, and then kind of like threw up my hand, like, He said, no, you didn't. You didn't block your man. And he screamed at me, right? And he screamed at me, and a few little cursing words came out of there. And I turned around, and I asked, and yes, I did. Pepper Johnson is admitting live on the radio that he cursed at Bill Parcells. I said, I blocked my effing man. Now, as soon as I said that, I'm like, are you the dumbest person ever to put on an NFL uniform? You just cussed at Parcells. And he's screaming back at me at this given time. He's talking mess. But I don't know. I really don't hear him. He's like Charlie Brown right now. Wah, 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 wah. And I don't know what he's saying because I'm so numb. I'm like, no, I did not do this. All my dreams of playing in the NFL stops this week. This guy's getting ready to put me out on the streets the next week. And I sat down, and so Banks heard him screaming at me. So Carl comes sit by me and say, Pep, did you block your man? And I was so messed up now. I'm like, I don't know. I blocked somebody, but maybe it wasn't my man because Parcells was so animated of me not blocking my man. So I'm done for the rest of the game. I can't tell you. That's why I can't even tell you. We could talk about all kinds of stuff. I could tell you what down, probably the time on the clock and everything. But I was so numb then, I can't remember who we were even playing, but I know we won because that made me feel good the next day. So we next morning, Monday morning, Parcells always sat on my stool. My stool was the last locker right before you go down the hall to the team meeting room, and all the meeting rooms really, but the team meeting room. And he sat next to Maurice Carthon. He always talked to Maurice and Mark Bavaro. So my locker was loaded. It was I was in trouble. If I ever tried to come in late, I was going to get in trouble anyway because Parcells sat on my stool every morning, every day. So I come in and he was talking to Maurice, and as soon as he kind of catch a glimpse of me, he just stood up and he said, "Come here." And I'm like, oh man, what am I going to tell my mother? I done got fired, and we didn't even go halfway through the season. So he pulls me back, and we actually go into the defensive back meeting room. He closes the door. He sits me down, and so now I'm like, I'm not going to be a chump. I'm going to look the man in his eyes while he fired me. He said, first of all, don't you ever raise your mouth to me. Don't you ever raise your voice to me. Da 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 da. I'm like, yes sir, yes sir. I don't know what got into me, and then I'm shut up, and I'm like, what are you? Stop talking. Just stop talking. So I'm quiet, and I let him finish chewing me out. Then he said he apologized because I did block my man, and that was the right guy. But don't you ever do it again. I said yes, sir. Da-da-da-da. And I get up, and now he goes into the meeting room, and everybody's kind of funneling into the meeting room. And now, see, I didn't even take off my jacket or whatever I had on. I didn't even change into my clothes. And I go back to the locker room, and Maurice is kind of laughing because Maurice already talked to him about it, and he's laughing, and he's like, "Yeah, you didn't." And I'm like, "Man, I don't like this place, man. There's no way I'm supposed to." Freaking 21-year-old kid supposed to be feeling like this, man. I thought I was done. I'm telling you, I didn't even sleep that night. And like I said, we won, and everybody was telling me, "You're gonna be all right, man. We won." He takes it a little light when after you win. It's just if we would have lost, then it's you probably need to pack up the car. And I'm like, oh.
Well, he was famous for doing stuff like that.
I was like you guys said, I was a Parcells favorite, but I wasn't going for that. I knew you had to carry your weight with the New York Giants.
Well, Pep, he was famous for doing stuff like that, right? I mean, there are stories about how he going into Super Bowl 25, like the week of practice where Jumbo was going to be blocking Bruce Smith. Didn't he verbally just beat up Jumbo for a week about Bruce Smith, just trying to get in his head and get the best out of him to shut Bruce down? Oh yeah, he put all of us. We all were the show team, Bruce Smith's. LT, when LT would go a couple of plays, then I'd go a couple of plays, then Banks would go a couple of plays. He'd put Leonard out there, and he'd go a couple of plays. We kept doing it to the point where Jumbo and LT was Jumbo wanted to fight him. He wanted to fight him, and LT started talking smack to him. It was like, come on. Jumbo told him, "Stop running from me. Stop running from me. Stand still. I want you to, so stop jumping around." So LT said, "This is what you want. This is what you want." So they both get down like it's a short yardage play, and Jumbo ready to fire off on him. And they said, this was during practice, and Hut, and Costello said Hut, and LT olayed him and jumped like the matador, like the bullfighter. Jumbo fell on his face. Oh, my goodness. We all laughing and all that stuff like that. Jumbo didn't take too kindly to that, right? He was so bad. And Parcells called practice. He was like, "Hey, if Jumbo would have went back out there again, I don't know." And it was my turn. And I was like, don't get that dude juiced up like that. And now it's my turn to go out there against him. He just started slamming the next person he see. But we did a lot of stuff like that. Like you said, Parcells, he had his way of motivating. Let's use that word rather than getting up under people's skin. But he had his way of motivating every player to some capacity. And he dealt with everybody individually. That's why I liked him. He just still today he asked me, "How is Maxine?" He don't just say your mother. He knows my mother's name, and and he talks about that, and he talks about my son now. And we talk a lot, but he talks about how my son is doing and the grandkids and all that stuff like that. And it's that's a great coach. To me that's a great coach. He's still there today. That's phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yes. But we I want to touch on a little bit what you guys was talking about our defense. It's funny that you said that. Like we intimidated so many opponents that when I was coaching in New England, I got some video. I called the guys up with the Giants and tried to get some of our old footage just to show some of the guys that I was coaching how we did it and how the game was a little more physical. And while I was trying to pull up plays, they were kind of hard to find. And whereas, like when we talk about it now, I can see Harry running through people. I can see Carl, just jacking up tight ends and all this stuff like that, and Gary, hitting Humphreys in Denver. I can see all this stuff happening, and it felt like all the time that it was big hits, but it was moments. One thing that I realized after watching a lot of those games and watching those years of, from '86 and putting out 10 quarterbacks, and from '88 and '89, and '90, and watching those games there where we were just pretty much we was dominating everybody. A lot of the games, a lot of the plays were, it was premature. We won the battle just from people watching us on film. No one didn't want to catch the ball coming across the middle of the New York Giants defense because they knew you was going to get hit. And if they probably even before you even got there, you was going to get hit. And if you dropped the ball, you was going to get hit again just for dropping the ball. Don't you wish you would have caught it?
4 or 5 guys around the ball. I mean, 4 or 5 guys around the ball every play, just swarming jerseys. At times it was like are they playing with 13? It was just there were guys all over. It's the truth. I mean,
our mentality was like it was me personally. Okay, I got Carl Banks on one side, I got Lawrence Taylor on another side. And everybody is talking about where do you run? Oh, well, this is what you do. You run the ball at Lawrence Taylor, and that slows him down on his pass rush. I'm like, no, you don't run the ball at Lawrence Taylor. It's going to slow him down on his pass rush. The dude got an incredible battery. He's going to go. He never gets tired. And then Carl, we played against Philadelphia one year, and Carl runs himself around so much that they had to get bring the cart and the IV out to the bench after the game, put him on the IV, and bring him into the locker room. I want to say that was 88.
Okay.
Wow.
I can't remember which year, but they going
in the vets.
Yeah, no, it was at Giant Stadium. It was in Giant Stadium.
All right.
It was at Giant Stadium. They had to go and bring the cart out to him on the bench. He couldn't get up off the bench.
Jesus.
But he was talking about leaving it all out on the field. That's leaving it all out on the field. But that's I'm sorry. My point I was trying to make with those two guys on the outside. So I felt like, okay, now they got to challenge us, and especially when Harry left, now they got to challenge us. Now they think they can run up in the inside. It's time for me to really put on my big boy pants. They don't want to run around the outside. But you had like the Washington Redskins that want to, they infamous play the counter trey, or the Dallas Cowboys. They power plays with Emmett and stuff. Before really Emmett made it popular, they trying to run these plays to the outside. But Carl was making those tackles. LT was making those tackles. Leonard was making those tackles. Eric Howard, those guys was defeating blockers and making tackles. So you ran to the ball like you crazy just so that you could try to get in on a tackle, because the tackles, it was rare. It was rare to get in on a play. Carl took out 2 blockers and still made the tackle when Washington would run that counter play.
And how about this, right? So you're just saying it's so hard to make a tackle. Well, Pep, in 1990 at 115. In 91, 104, and another 115 in 92. So you were right there with them, buddy. You were leading the charge, my friend.
Because I had to climb up over a couple of guys. I used Dorsey a couple of times as a booster to run over him and try to get to the guy before Banks would get to him. We had a very good defense. We had a very good defense. The cornerbacks, the safeties, no one was afraid to tackle. And Mark Collins, he enjoyed tackling the running back just as much as the next guy. and then go out there and jam and run around with Jerry Rice. It was, we had that team.
Pep, this way we just get it out of the way. I just want to ask, what's going on with you currently? What's
definitely.
What are you up to these days?
They have me all over the place. The firing of Pepper Johnson from the New York Jets is just have me scattering here and there. Mm-hmm. So I've been currently training different players, either from college to the pro ranks, trying to get them ready. Some guys for their pro days and coming into the league. And I had a couple of pro guys that came to me as far as trying to strengthen their pass rush ability and covering skills, some linebackers and stuff like that. So I've been working with guys to that capacity. And my little pet have been these vitamin B1. I'm kicking myself, and I really want to fight the doctors that have been put in front of me that never explained to me what vitamin B1 was. And it's such a strong vitamin for players for football players because I'm sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Because we do so much. We do so much out on the practice field, and then we're asked to come back off the practice field, and on a wind down, you eat and everything. Normally, when people want to, get a little tired or want to kick back and look at TV or whatever, the vitamin B1 will continue to keep your stamina up. So you're not having guys tired and fatigued in meetings, that they're standing strong and they can pay attention and they can listen, and then you don't have to tell them twice out there on the football field. I didn't know about this when as a player. So I learned about vitamin B1 like a couple of years ago, and I didn't feel the stamina. I didn't feel the boost. It's not like a 5-hour energy drink or something like that out on the field. But where it took effect with me coaching is when I come off the field, and after I watch the practice film with the players, then you watch the film again with all the coaches and go over internal corrections. And those meetings can get a little boring and a little long when, the head coach or the defense coordinator is talking more to the secondary than he is talking to, the guys that you coach, that I was coaching. So I try to figure out different ways to stay up in those meetings. I had a little pedal bike that I got from Sharper Image, thing that you set in front of you, and you sit in the chair and you can pedal your feet. I used to use that just to stay awake in meetings when I was with the Patriots. But this vitamin B1 is pretty good, and what we
how did you take it? You took it. You took it
I'm
by
sorry,
mouth?
go ahead.
A pill? You took it by a pill?
No, we with USA Natural Patches. What we do, we put the vitamin B1 into a patch, so it goes into your body transdermal. And just like the motion sickness patches and some of the pain reliever patches and stuff like that. So guys, you stick it on your arm, and as long as you put it on, that's like a Band-Aid. As long as you put it on before you sweat, and you put it on your arm, it lasts maybe 6 hours. But of course, the more you run and the more physically active you are, the more it's going to drain into your body. But it's better than, a lot of people find it better than taking the pills orally, that it has to go through your digestive system, or taking a shot. And I know myself, I don't like taking shots, and
nope.
Yeah, exactly. So I would rather deal with the patch. And we throw an extra little wrinkle to it. We customize the patches. So we're trying to give a little swag, the words that these kids use nowadays, that we try to give it a little swag. So like my patches are pretty much my business card. Some of those, I have a guy, David Hawkins, with the Big Three, wearing the patch, and it has his name and his number on it. You have guys that's in the league that's going to be wearing the patches this year. I don't really want to start naming a lot of names because I want the guys to wear the patches before I start naming names. Yeah. But we have a giant. We have a giant. Trust me, we have a giant, and hopefully it gets contagious. And with the guys, but it helps. I have never gotten any negative response, not once. And I told a lot of my friends, and I talked to some of the guys that I recruited to wear the patches. If they have any problems, please tell me, because that would help me more than anything. Sure. Are you finding the same thing? But I started off slightly with USA Natural Patches, but I have really got involved just because of my niece and my nephew, and I am trying my best to bring more awareness of vitamin B1. My niece and my nephew both are in their 20s. Well, my niece is 25. My nephew is 36. Golly, that dude getting old. But they both have been having terrible, intense migraine headaches since they were 17 and 15 years old. And my niece, I think hers were a little stronger, and I started her on with the patches. Mm-hmm. Today, I think she's 125 straight days wearing the patches, and she's at 65 wearing two. That she put one on in the morning, and then she put another one on after work, like 3 or 4 o'clock. And her doctors could not help her with her migraines. She would get the migraines so bad where she would, curl up in her bedroom and turn off all the lights and all that stuff. And the only thing she was doing is documenting the intensity of her migraines. I gave her these patches, and I would love to say Dr. Pepper. I'm Dr. Pepper and take that and run with it. But it's just I put 2 and 2 together. My wife says she no longer had headaches when she was wearing the patches, and I'm like, I wonder if this would help with my niece, with Nessie. And she put on the patches, and it took it a little while, but she no longer have migraines.
How about
that? Intensity levels slowed down, but once we put her on 2, she no longer had migraines. My nephew have had 1 migraine since he's been wearing the patches.
Dr. Pepper putting 1 and 1 together, huh? Look at that.
Yeah, exactly.
Where can we find this stuff?
Trust me, I got my calls into the league and to the Players Association that I really want vitamin B1 to be involved in the concussion protocol. I have a strong feeling that it will help a lot of the players that are having problems with concussions. And I hope one day that we do take this, that this can be somewhat of a preventive measures. That the guys wear the patches or just taking the vitamin B1 and forget about the patches and the selling of the patches and all that stuff. Hey, my boss is going to kick me in the teeth if he ever hear this.
No. Where can we find this? Where can we find this? Where can we find this stuff? Where can we find yours? Where can we find yours? Can we purchase it? Can we put it on the site? Can we get it out there? What could we do, or where could we find it?
Buyb1.com. BuyBe1.com. Yes.
I'll tell you, I love that it's in the patch because I'm like
use
a
my
95-year-old man.
I'm thinking the same thing, Marco. I could do it in the patch. That's where I can go with that whole patch thing is more up my alley.
If I need to take a pill, I'm like crushing in an applesauce. You would think I just can't. Let me slap on the patch. I'm good to go.
Well, you guys are just like me. My son told me, he was like, Dad, how are you gonna try to sell some patches and try to sell some vitamins when you run from aspirin? You know, I never took aspirin or anything like that, and I was like, it was catchy to me, but I was like, I wouldn't want to give it to any of my players, and I haven't tried it myself. So like I said, I put the patch on. I went out to practice, and I was like, I don't really feel anything, blah 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 blah. But some of the young guys was telling me, they felt it. They felt energy or whatever. And I said, well, maybe it's not just for me. But then I noticed how those late meetings and how that coaching schedule can weigh on you. And I wasn't sleepy anymore, and I had that energy. I started working out a little more at night. I work out early, and then I work out late. So it was helping me in that capacity. My wife, she loves it when I put on the patch because I go and work out, and then I come home and I want to cook, and then I want to clean up the house. So she's happy about the deal, but
I think my wife just logged
small,
on.
But I think it's helpful.
My wife just went to buybe1.com. She's going to invest, I think.
Do you have
now you got to put in my code now. Put in my code so you.
Well, what's the code? What's the code? Give us the
my
code.
Code PepJ52. Come on, man. What else could it be?
Well, I got that. All right.
You can't forget that PepJ52.
No, that's good. We're gonna make sure that we put this out. We'll tweet it. We'll put it on the site. We'll blast it out, and we'll try to draw as many eyes to it as we can. That's great. Yeah, and I'm gonna definitely go and purchase some myself because at 41 I can use all the help I can get. To be honest with you.
All right, trust me. I'm telling you, you're gonna feel a difference. You're gonna feel a difference. If you don't day one, I promise you, after day 2 or 3, you're gonna feel a big difference.
Pep, we got a couple of guys here. Pep, we got a couple of guys on the YouTube that are following and listening along that are loving everything. They want. Do you follow the? Do you still have the? Because I know there was some time away from the Giants, but do you still follow the Giants per se? Like they want to know your thoughts on this team coming up with training camp starting 3-13 last year. Do you have any thoughts on this roster? What we could be looking at for the fall?
Now, I'm gonna tell you that when you're now you're really touching into Pepper Johnson. I am so analytical on that. Like, in my mind, you can go to all 32 teams, down the rosters, and you're going to find an abundance of talent. You're going to find some skilled guys at some crucial positions, and this guy can do this, and that guy helped this guy can do that, blah, 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 down the line. Defensively, you have this and you have that. To me, the difference makers are the coaching and the direction. And that comes from the better talent and the more vocal players in that locker room, and it can be presented by coaches, but it has to be done by the players.
Gotcha.
That was another thing that Parcells always said, that there are no great coaches. There are great players that make great coaches. You go out and you try to get the most skilled athletes and some of the most skilled players that you possibly can, but without direction, that guy is just going to be just running around in circles. or he's going to be out of control, or he's going to be the guy that's complaining about throw me the ball, or I'm the best corner in the league, or I need to just sack the quarterback and don't care about playing against the run. You once you get those marquee guys on your team to, excuse my French, give a damn, then you get direction, and that roster, I don't care what it looks like. Will somebody please look at the New England Patriots? When are they going to ever give Tom Brady some marquee receivers like, once upon a time with Randy Moss?
Yeah.
They don't have him. It doesn't matter. He turning. Some guys are gifted, but he's making a lot of guys look a lot better than what they really are, just because of, not because he's a great quarterback with a great arm, and people can measure and probably say, hey, Dan Marino had a better arm. Okay, I'm not going to be ready to argue that. But what Tom Brady does when you come into that building, he sucks you up. He gets up under you, and he's going to guide you, not just touring around the facility, but he's going to guide you. You're going to start thinking football and living football the way that he looks at it.
Understood.
When you guys asked me about when I first walked in to the Giants facility, you looked at football through Harry Carson. George Martin said one of the biggest things that I learned from him was like, Pepper, the first thing you need to know, I think this was one of those where he felt like I was slipping, that I was going in the wrong direction, that he said you need to understand there is pro football players and there are professional football players, and which one you want to be. And take all of us, every time you leave out of this building, take all of us with you. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference. So I can go out and have a good time and party with the best of them, but I'm not going to do anything to hurt my captains. I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize and make them turn their back to me. That's true leadership. I still call Harry my captain now. I don't say it to George. We call George Pops. Because he had that father figure, the way that he talked to you and the way that he sat me down and did that. Those guys, our relationship. When we was talking about it, you talked about Gary Reasons. I saw him a few weeks ago at Mariano Rivera golf tournament, and Diassi was out there, Lindetta came, and we talked, and our relationship, I'm like, hey, man, when I talk to a lot of guys around the league, it's not as many people stay in touch with each other like we do. So I just got a call yesterday from Mark Collins asking me, am I coming to any of the opening game or something like that. I think that's what he was talking about, because Greg Lasker asked me about it. I still keep in touch with Maurice Carthon. We talked about there haven't been a year that I don't go and play golf with LT in Philly. I mean, in Florida. That I'm always going to, go out there. Carl Banks and I, we talk, and, we keep in contact. And Harry, it's a lot of guys. It's got to be like about 30 or 40. I just seen Canavis McGee. It's got to be like 30 guys that I think that we communicate and we talk to each other a lot, even after all the glory days.
Rumors from what I heard is that they were trying to get together and do a cruise, like all the old Giants players going on a cruise. I think
that
that's
would be
what they were trying to start up.
Now, you guys hear about this? You please tell me, because I think I'm
only if you hear about it, you tell us. We'll get an open line of communication.
I have to tell you, now this is bad, and I don't want anyone taking this the wrong way with the Giants, but I don't get invited to anything. And I know a lot of it when I was coaching in New England. They just felt like, oh, he's not going to be able to do it. Okay, but I got the Super Bowl 21 reunion and all that stuff. But Super Bowl 25, Everson Walls called me when he was in town, and I was coaching with the Jets. And it's like
you were right there.
Yeah, like I didn't get this call, I didn't get this email, and how am I missing out on this? And this, something that's going on in the first game. I think they have something like the Legends or just playing tribute to some of the players, and I didn't get this email, and my phone number hasn't changed in maybe 20 years.
Right.
That's BS.
I'm not bad. I think some people just think that I'm doing other things and coaching and I get looked over, because there's a couple other guys that they feel like they're getting looked over also. But because we communicate with each other, so Greg Lasker called me, and I'm gonna crash the party.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we are willing to crash it with you if you want guests. If you want to, if it's an N1, feel free. We'll come along. It's up to you.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'm gonna need some help. I'm gonna need some help. Especially after this, they're gonna be like, "Oh, Pepper, hey, I heard you. You were saying you apologized that you really wasn't saying bad, but you was sticking a couple of jabs up in there."
They'll live. Trust me.
Yeah. Once a giant, always a giant.
Without a doubt, baby.
Now, a lot of my friends, they know how much I love to win. Like, there's nothing. You can't tell me anything about this guy is so great and he doesn't have championships. I'm sorry. I'm going to put a little asterisk next to his name, next to him, and you can go into the Hall of Fame and all that stuff. If you never even played in that game, there's something lacking in your career, through your career. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you the nod of being that guy, because if you're so good of a player, you're going to figure out a way. Like I was when you guys asked me about the Giants, how do I think they're going to do this year? You have to have that leader. You have to have a Lawrence Taylor, which he gets so much negative credit. No one ever asks us about how good of a teammate he was, how good of a teammate he still is today. I go out to his golf tournament, and we're sitting around, and I know we're not sitting around talking like now, but I'm sitting down in my basement, and we all could be sitting around, we all could be together. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent.
You're good.
He decides, in his own way, after he didn't say a couple of jokes, but tell everybody that was there how comfortable I made him feel when I was there, that he could do whatever he wanted to do. And he didn't feel like he was being a rebel. He could just go out and play, and he knew I had his back. And that was the big. I wish I had a video camera and a tape recorder, but at the same time, I was like,
say something like that.
No, I don't need that, because I know he feel like that. I know he would say that 12 times over again, because what we did for each other. Pepper is who's the best football player. I've been asked this question: who's the better pass rusher, Reggie White or Lawrence Taylor? I'm like, it's they're two different people. It's that you don't have to. Reggie White is the better pass rusher. Lawrence Taylor has a halo over his head. I know Reggie was the Reverend, but Lawrence Taylor could will himself to do anything. There are no defensive players that could just take over a game by themselves like that guy could.
Pepper, the game in New Orleans, where he was rocking on the sideline because his shoulder was hanging, his arm was hanging off of his body, and he's rocking back and forth on the sideline, and they're trying to work on him, and then the camera goes on, and he's on the field, and he's running circles around guys, and he's making plays all around the field. He was
unreal.
like Superman.
Unreal.
Superman.
That guy ran. He caught Bo Jackson. Now Bo Jackson is not a slow guy by no means at all.
No.
And Bo
never
Jackson
catch him in technical.
ran around. He was running around LT's edge. Matter of fact, it was the longest run that Bo got that game. We still get on LT about it. You know, he let the dude run around the corner. But anyway, looking at it. But LT had a bad leg, and Bo Jackson, the Raiders had this play where he ran a one-man reverse. They had tossed him out the ball going one way. He would stop, put his foot in the ground, and run the reverse by himself and come back the other way. And Lawrence kind of bit on it a little bit, but as the lineman took off, he felt the play, so he took off running after him. And I know myself, I'm like, oh man, he got T because he was around him and he was moving.
And you never saw Bo get caught from behind, right? I mean,
exactly.
It was like he was gone.
And I'm like, oh man. So now I'm trying to take a better angle to try to get him if he get 20 yards down the field. And T went down there and caught that guy. After he gained about 5 yards, he fell forward for 7 out of bounds. And that was Bo Jackson's longest run of that game. And he caught him on a bad leg. He caught him on a bad leg.
I mean, you guys spoiled us growing up. I mean, especially the guys that are my age that grew up in that heyday of 86 through 90. You spoiled us. I mean, that to watch you guys every Sunday, and I said this to Gary, and we said this to Myron, to watch you guys, it was a pleasure. You just knew, and sometimes things went bad, like the flipper game, and sometimes things went great, and we won Super Bowls. But you knew at the end of the day, there was no question asked that you guys left everything on the field, that it was one unit, just one team. It wasn't a bunch of individuals. And you just gave everything you had, and the chips fell where they may on any given Sunday. But you had to respect the effort and the team that was put on the field every week. And it was a pleasure watching you guys growing up, an absolute pleasure. I think back a bit to those days to this day.
Thank you. That's great to hear, because that's when it's all said and done, that was why we went out there. Like one of my friends, my college teammate, William White, he was on the Detroit Lions that year in 1990. And remember, they come to town. They was the another one of the power offenses that we had to play that year, and we shut them out, and we gave
Sanders,
Miami 3
points
or something that's like that. Yeah. And William, he was like, "Oh, you just eating this up, aren't you?" And we changed it. Matter of fact, I think I just got a fumble, or maybe I got an interception. I don't know. I know I had the ball in my hand. And he said, "You just eating this up." And I'm like, "Yeah, watch this." And I just raised my hands, and I promise you, if anybody in Giant Stadium did not cheer at that moment, I did not see him. I did not see him in person. Everybody, I just had. If I felt like the
orchestra
band conductor.
Right? Right.
I raised my hands, and everybody was like, ah! And then I said, oh, they're cheering for me over here too. And I did it, and I looked the other way. Ah! And William just pushed me and was like, get on out of here. And I'm like, dude, I'm loving this place. I'm loving it, you know. And then I put my hand up again, and everybody screamed again while I was running off the field.
I mean, that was. I mean,
Giant fans, especially at that time. That's why I said, you know, I was getting ready, you know, say about we bleed blue and once a Giant, always a Giant, and all that. I have friends that was teasing me. They call themselves teasing me, of course, when the Giants beat us, and I'm coaching in New England, and
right.
you know, in 2007 when we're 16-0, and they're like, well, you still got to feel like, well, at least you lost to the Giants. I'm like, man, get out of my face. No, I'm not. Because I want to win every game. I can care less about the individual honors. I want to win because I think football is matter of fact, I know. I'm not going to say I think. Football is the ultimate team sport. There's no one
100%.
person doing anything. So,
right.
But now I said I can't be a hypocrite. I do bleed blue. Like you guys said earlier in the show, it would have been my dream to come back and coach with the New York Giants. It didn't happen. So I tell people now that my pleasure is I helped the Giants win all 4 of their Super Bowl championships. I'm on the field for 2, and I was over there giving Coughlin signals when I was on the Patriots sideline. Something. I'm on the other sideline, and I just, you know, I was giving up information or something. I at least was out on the field.
We appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it.
At every Giant Super Bowl because of playing, and then when they lose to Baltimore. That was 10 years after we beat Buffalo, that Super Bowl was back in Tampa, and it was the Giants and all that. And I actually, because my son didn't see me play that year in '90, so I got to take him out. Belichick gave me his 2 tickets, and I got to take my son to that game. And
that's cool.
You know, I hate that the Giants lost, but you know, at least he got to experience that. And
yeah, it's still a great experience.
That
coaching later. Yeah.
Pat, before we wrap this up, I have an idea that we've been trying to get it together. We have a bunch of veterans that, you know, former Giants players that come on the show frequently, but it's difficult to get everyone coming on together. I want to try to get like 5 or 6 of your former teammates and colleagues to come on at the same time, just, you know, to get a little party going. We have 4 or 5 people that are willing to come on. We just want to get as many yeses as we can. So will you come back on when it's a nice little group party going on?
Oh, of course. You guys got me. I don't. It's not, especially late at night. Yeah, you got me. Now, some of the other guys, if they want to come on early, then that's a different beast. But right now, yeah, late at night, I'm all yours.
That's
and
beautiful.
I would say put a call into that Stephen Baker guy. I'm quite sure he can.
He's
the touchdown maker?
Yeah. He's a local guy. He's still in Jersey. And he's a comedian.
We'd love to get him.
We have to put the pressure on Phil Simms. He said he gave me a soft yes, but never really followed up.
I would cry.
So we got.
I would love to. Yes, please make that happen. Get Phil on the radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Marshall.
Yeah, exactly. Now you might you might lose him then.
Pepper, you want to laugh? Like I'm sitting here all day long. Like my wife and my kids are laughing at me all day long. I come home, Pepper, all this, right? They remember when I was screaming that you were getting the interview and he's going to be our defensive coordinator, and I loved it all day long. I was shaking when you were coming on, and I just ordered. I was upstairs watching the movie Marshall. So there you go.
Okay.
You know what?
All right, I'm going to let that one fly.
Please do. I think you know that but in my heart I'm a good guy, and it was just a stupid mistake by a nervous 41-year-old that went back to being 9 years old for a second.
Trust me, I have been called Pepper Rogers so many times. It's ridiculous. I'm now you are first. You call me Pepper Marshall. I don't know if I ever.
I don't even know where the hell that came from.
Marshall, but
you know what's great about that though? I know Jimmy well enough to know that Jimmy was practicing all day. He had that intro. On lock. And then Pepper Johnson got on the line, and he just,
I don't know where. And that's exactly what happened. I saw the number, and it just like my heart was in my throat the whole time. So that's on me. I get the mulligan for the night.
That's okay. Well, you guys let me run my mouth, so I can.
This is like a dream come true to have you on, man. This is like a dream come true. You know, we're a bunch of guys that started this for the fans. We think we give educated opinions on what goes on with the Giants now, but for us to start this thing up a couple of years ago and to be able to have the honor to speak to guys like you and Gary and Myron, and you know, we've had Amani Toomer on the show before, a bunch of guys, and you know, it's a dream come true. So the fact that you're able to stay on with us for an hour and give us some old stories and fill in some of these millennials that we have that are following us now into some of the glory days is you know, is a dream for us. So, you know, we really appreciate that you even taking your time. And, you know, we're definitely going to buyb1.com, code PEPJ52. We're going to blast that out for you, my friend. And we're
that's not Pep M. You don't say Pep M 52.
No, Pep J.
No, not Pep
J. Pep J.
No, I'm joking with you about Pep
Marshall. I know. I'm trying to cover up because I'm so ashamed of myself.
No, that's okay. I mean, trust me, it just makes it more of an honor to that I actually make you nervous, because you know, anybody would tell you that met me that by no means, I tell people right off the bat, you know, people call me Mr. Johnson and all that stuff. I'm just Pepper. I had fun when I play football. I have fun coaching football when I watch guys do some things that are honorable. That's not just doing it for self, and like I said, and people giving directions. I like to believe that I tried my hardest to pass the torch that was handed to me from Harry and LT and Banks and George and all those guys, and Phil Simms, that I tried my best to pass the torch. One of the things that, unfortunately for our game today, that torch just kind of went out, and it's not as strong in some places.
No.
What you want to do if the Giants really want to get back on playing traditional football, it really comes from that leadership. And only so much can go with coaching. You need the leadership from someone in that locker room that's going to take charge and going to say, hold their chest out and going to say, hey, I am willing to fight you physically if we don't all get on the same page.
Pep, shouldn't that guy be Eli? Pep, shouldn't that guy be Eli? Shouldn't that guy be Eli?
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be the quarterback. It doesn't have to be the quarterback. I'd like you'll like for it to be the quarterback. You'll like for it to be the middle linebacker. But I've had some some safeties that was very strong. A guy, Eric Turner. So I'm sorry, Eric Turner. God rest his soul. Was a strong leader. He was a strong individual. He would he would demand respect. He would demand attention. He would demand to watch film together as a group, and not just for show. We didn't have to tell the coach. You can do this over at my house, and everybody came, and everybody did it. You don't necessarily have to be the so-called what should be. A quarterback is. He should be the leader. Because just think about it. We in 25 we lost Phil Simms.
Yeah,
we lost Phil
Very
Simms,
true.
and Phil Simms was a great captain. He was a great teammate. When Phil talked to me and I was a rookie, I was like, wow, he's actually paying attention to it. and then he made a joke. He still called me Peeper today. Peeper, him and Carl Nelson. Peepers. And he'll say it loud to it. It tickles him. It tickles him. I don't know why. But I've asked him several times, is that some kind of, hidden joke that he had with the offensive lineman, but he won't tell me. But anyway, just think about it. We all could have just collapsed then, but we embraced Hostetler, and that leadership just came from everybody. It came from everybody. When going back to Bo Jackson, when Bill Belichick tried to show us a half an hour highlight tape of Bo Jackson the night before we played against him, Mark Collins was the first person to get up and walk out of the meeting room. And then Carl Banks tipped over the table, and then I was like, okay, it's and I don't know if Bill, it was Coach Belichick, I don't know if he was trying to light a fire up under us or not. But whatever, if his intentions was to do that, it was awesome, because we lit into Bo Jackson. He wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
But
that's unbelievable.
That leadership again. It need to come from everybody, but the nucleus, the main person, someone has to step up. And in today's game, it's bad because a lot of people don't want to get involved. They don't want to. They don't want to. They listen to and they watch their teammate doing wrong, and then they just shake their head, and then they lace up their shoes, and then they go in their direction.
Do you think there's a little bit of that on the Giants?
Calling that guy. Excuse me?
Do you think there's a little bit of that on the Giants, where some of the bigger personalities, without mentioning any names, where some guys in the locker room are like, well, it's not worth it. Like, there's no getting through.
Well, it's hard. It's hard to say. You would put me with one of those guys on ESPN or NFL Network or something like that. That's giving an opinion on certain things that they really don't know or hearsay. Yeah. I don't know, because I'm not in the Giants locker room. I'm not in the building, so I really don't know. I can't criticize the leadership there, but I know it when you see it out on the field. I know when what motivates other players. It's some guys that they have that attraction that comes from them that makes other players play better around them. And they don't have to score a touchdown. They can block for this guy to score a touchdown, and it tickles them. They can be standing on the sideline and say, they give the ball to such and such, and he scores, or watch so-and-so on this play, and he goes and he sacks the quarterback, and it just motivated that guy that he's on the kickoff team, and he runs down and calls a fumble. It's just some people have that contagious way about them, and as a coach living that life, you have to find that person, and you have to get it out of them and make that guy address the team, address his teammates, and pull it out of them. Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to lead by example, and I'm going to lead like with a stern stick. That if you keep straying or you keep trying to be this individual while we're trying to be a team, I'm not going to sit back and say or go and tell the head coach and talk about you behind your back. I'm going to be a man. I'm going to walk right up into your locker, and I'm going to tell you. No, you want to swing, and you think you want to fight. I'm sorry, Pepper Johnson is going to fight. Not promoting that anybody go out there, because guys, you hear this interview and think that I'm promoting that you fight amongst your teammates, but no, it never got to that, because anyone that I threatened, I had a lot of my other teammates supporting me.
Yeah.
I had a lot of my other teammates that were supporting me. Whether, it's the first time a team was in the playoffs and what you do, or even in New England as a coach. And here we are in 2001, and we were in the playoffs, and we kicked and scratched to get into the playoffs, and then we messed around and got a bye week, and we fought, and now you want to blow it all on trying to go out to a party or have a girl in the hotel room or some mess like that? No. Trust me, you don't celebrate until the confetti. There's another one of Parcells' rules, a Belichick rule, that you don't celebrate until the confetti. So that dinner is going to taste better. That carrot cake is going to taste better. That drink is going to taste better. Kissing your wife is going to be the best time of your life after the confetti.
That's great.
Oh man,
it has
great.
been it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, Pep. This was phenomenal, man.
Might I say not to throw anyone else under the bus, but this has probably been the best interview we've had with a player, I must say.
Hands down.
Wow.
Oh,
thank you.
There was one that was just a bomb. Oh my God. I'll tell you off the air. But,
we'll inbox you. We'll inbox you the info on that one, Pep.
All right. No problem.
Hey, man, it has been a pleasure.
Right,
we are going to blast out by b1.com. Again, if you guys are listening, PepJ52 is the code to support Pepper Johnson. Again, two-time Super Bowl champ, Pep. It has been a blast having you on. We'll have you on again soon.
Thank you.
PepJ52 is also his Twitter and his Instagram account. So give him a follow. I'm sure people will.
Yes, thank you.
I'm
an amateur with all that. Jackie take care of all that. My wife take care of all that stuff. I'm an amateur. They just got me to become a member of social media. I was a stranger. I didn't know anything about it. I can barely text on my phone and all that stuff like that. My daughter knows more than I do, and they got me on social media. So thank you very much, guys.
Hey, man, it's a blast.
Thank you.
Take care, Pep. We love you, bud.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Much,
Okay.
Pepper.
Bye.
Oh boy.
We got 17 minutes left. He was on with us for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
And there was no.
It was the fastest hour and a half of my life.
Talk about
Talk
about a guy, just so great in the sense that he was on for an hour and a half. It felt like 10 minutes, and he just had story after story.
Yep.
Mhm.
What did you take away from that?
We got to get him back on. There were so many things that I wanted to get to that you just can't do 3 hours on.
He's the epitome of how we became Giants fans.
Pretty much.
It's we. If you were a Giants fan growing up and we're all in the same age group, you loved the defense. You loved the way that team played together. Yeah. And you knew it was a family atmosphere, going from top to bottom.
Yeah. There was a reason why we wanted these guys to so passionately. There was a reason why we wanted Pep so passionately to be the defensive coordinator at that time, because we thought he would bring back the Giant way, right? I mean, we thought that he would bring back that swarming mentality, that 5 hats to the ball, like just every for your team, next man up, and we thought he would bring that back. I mean, that's what that team was about, and to hear him say it, it's a pleasure. I don't believe I called him Marshall. Do you believe that?
That was unbelievable.
I really was like, what was it? I thought there was a joke.
No, it wasn't a joke. It was a complete. My balls were in my throat. Like I was so when Marco said 845 is Pepper, I completely shit the bed. I was just like, oh my God, where's my intro? What's going on? What day is it? Unbelievable.
It happened. It was a quick recovery. Don't worry.
It went well. I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm exhausted. I'm 41 anyway. I'm probably passing out as soon as I hit the bed. But still, it was just funny the way it was. It just goes to show you, dude. Like we're still fans, right? I mean, we still get that feeling where it's like, oh my God, these are it's not a job for us where we're accustomed to speaking to these guys. It's like, holy shit, Pepper Johnson's on the phone. Like, what?
James said it right. You just go back to I'm 10 years old now. I'm back to being 10.
You just go right back to being like you're 10 years old. We got a call coming in, 917. What's up? Give us a little something. What's going on?
How are you doing? Been a while.
Ned. A late night call from Ned, ladies and gentlemen.
Ned, you never call us past 11.
This would be the equivalent of
Michael Strahan calling. Because you started right as I'm at work.
Oh, Ned, I'm sorry. We can't work around
that work
your
gets into a lot of trouble with a lot of people. Really kills your nightlife.
So, guys, do we even want to touch on Beal or OBJ? Or, I mean, after that, I mean, we got 12 minutes.
Nah, because you got 10 minutes to get to it. You know what I think we do a show Sunday. If we can.
I think we do. You want to go? We can even go tomorrow. You guys doing anything tomorrow?
We would need, what's his name? We would need the intern that's MIA today.
He can make up for it tomorrow
to stream it.
Because tomorrow's when the bullets start flying tomorrow, right? I mean, it's go time tomorrow. We got another caller, Ned. Hold the line, handsome. We got another guy calling in, 917 again. Ned's neighbor. Ned, who's on the line? 917.
That is Ryan. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, Ryan?
Hey, what's up?
What's on your mind, Ryan?
Yeah, this is a good interview. I think, I didn't catch all of it.
So what do you guys think of Pepper Johnson?
Seems like a good guy, and I like the old school way of Giants football. Just hard-nosed football. I think he just embraces every aspect of that.
Wait, let me think to make the comparison of how. Just like how important he was to the Giants to the recent Giants Super Bowls. Would you say he was more? So Strahan would be like LT, I would guess, right?
If you had to compare, if we're going to compare Super Bowl, I'd go if you're going to say best player, Strahan.
Yeah. So are we talking? He would be like the equivalent to OC maybe? Popularity-wise and stature.
Honestly, he was the heart and soul. I think he's almost comparable to, you want to go recent-wise, Antonio Pierce. obviously.
Yeah.
Exactly. That would be my guy. Yeah, I would go with Antonio Pierce. I would go with the heart, the middle. I mean, he was the heart, man. I mean,
he was Ray Lewis before Ray Lewis. Let's be honest, guys.
And you know what? And he's right, because I went on the YouTube and I put in Pepper Johnson highlights, and I almost started crying because there's none. There's none, and because I wanted to get some audio maybe when we brought him on to say, Pepper makes a tackle or an interception by Pepper Johnson. He was always around the ball. He was always recovering. I mean, he had, I think, 7 fumble recoveries in his career. He had 8 fumble recoveries. He had interceptions. He was always making plays. He was the heart and soul of that defense. Heart and soul.
You know what I had to think about, guys? Is he the only number 52 that you think of for the Giants? Who's another 52?
Not for I could think of other 52s that resonate, but for the Giants, if you say 52, well, it's sort of like 55. Like, for me, if somebody says 55, I say Gary Reasons. If somebody says 52, Pepper Johnson is the first person that comes to my name. If somebody says 20, I think of Joe Morris. If 89, I think of Mark Bavaro. I mean...
Oh, yeah, 89 is absolutely Bavaro's number. 100%.
You know, so there's certain guys that...
What about number 80?
Phil McConkey?
McConkey.
That's
Shockey. I think it's Shockey.
Chris Callaway.
Chris Callaway.
Wait, did McCaffrey wear 82 or something?
McCaffrey was 81.
Yep.
81.
McCaffrey was 81. I had a fucking McCaffrey jersey.
You know, McCaffrey was awesome. You know, but he gets more credit for being at Denver than being with us.
Well, that's the silly Giants. Even though let him go, and he became a superstar in Denver.
Oh man, what a night! So good. Let's see. What do people think?
That's one of my favorite hours that we've ever done, and I think
it's pumped me up to start doing the shows again, guys. The football.
Yeah, that was a nice little. Appetizer for getting into the season. Pepper got my blood boiling. I just, you guys know how bad I wanted him as the defensive coordinator. I absolutely love him.
Well,
and one of the things, he was so vocal. He was such a fiery guy.
That interview proved it. You know, if he was our defensive coordinator, the team takes a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, the one thing I wish we asked him, and I didn't think about it, was what defense would he have ran? Would he have ran the 3-4, or would we have been running 4-3? Because
that's a great question. I also love. Did you absolutely love? Did you see how I tried to get him to give an opinion or say something about OBJ or something like that? And he totally just would not take the bait. He just was like, I don't work for NFL or any of those things to give my opinion. I'm not there. Sorry, dude. That was great. That was absolute. We had to ask the question because he let us right into it.
He also wants a coaching job, so he doesn't know if he's going to be running in that.
Well, no, 100%. But some of the things he said with the leadership and who is going to step up, it would have been silly of us not to at least pose the question of, hey, are you trying to say that, some of the things that are happening here are distracting a little bit, maybe taken from that? And he just totally was like, hey, man, not doing any of that. And that was phenomenal. That was great because a lot of guys maybe wouldn't get him a shit and would have said something off the cuff, just trying to, say something.
No, but he's been interviewed a million times as a coach.
Oh, yeah, he knows definitely.
Yeah.
He should know his way around. We were.
There's nothing we're going to get him.
Either.
I want to get this Giants roundtable going, and just let them just shoot the shit. Like we just, antagonize it a little bit, and just let them go.
That would be great. Well, Reason said to give him a call and to try to get him on in the fall. So
you would assume we got Reasons, Myron, Pepper.
And what is this? What was the little? There was something that was said by our CEO with approximately 6 minutes and 20 seconds left in the show. But there was something that was said earlier that just went right through the cuff because we had Pepper. We had a soft yes.
Yeah, you
from
remember
Phil
that.
Simms.
We did have a soft yes.
Yeah.
You remember that.
We had a soft we did?
Yes.
Yeah. He followed me back.
I didn't remember the soft.
I remember
the
that.
follow back, but I didn't remember. I didn't for some reason I didn't remember that we had that there was a chance of him coming on. Oh man, that would have been phenomenal.
Sims. If we get Sims, I feel like somebody needs to be with Jimmy physically.
Yes.
I'm worried for his health.
Yes.
There's
no way I can handle that.
You better medicate all day long. Just take the day off.
There's no way I can handle that.
And then there's the interview.
Are you kidding me?
What,
Gary Reasons, Pepper Johnson, Phil Simms. I could die. Are you kidding me?
Knowing we have Pepper today.
You're getting some of my favorite players in there. Can we just get like Rodney Hampton in, and let's run it off with LT. Well, then you pretty much have my childhood.
Right.
Knowing we have Pepper today,
my phone dropped.
Work was great. Just knowing we had to come back and talk to Pepper at the end. I mean, work was doable.
Tomorrow's going to be a good day.
I'm gonna start wearing my B1 patches, and I'll have more energy.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm definitely going and getting some of the B1 stuff. I was taking notes on the B1 stuff. I really was.
And then he threw a nice dig at you about his code.
Yep.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? Not Pep M. I was like, you son of a you. I totally deserved it. I deserve that. I can't even say anything about it. I totally deserved it. But the fact that Pep was kind enough to bust my balls, I could die. That's phenomenal.
James is going to sleep in his jersey tonight.
I got a shit-eating grin on my face. Are you kidding me? I'm sitting here like a 4-year-old. I just spoke to Pepper Johnson for an hour and a half. Are you kidding me? I'm going to be so dead at work tomorrow. Then I'm going to be like, are you alive? Nope. Dreaming about Pep.
Maybe you need a B1 patch.
Yeah, give me some
B1.
B1.
Pick one up. I wonder if they can overnight it and send it directly to my place of business. Have me waiting. Have it waiting with a box of Joe from Dunkin' Donuts and 12 B1 patches to get me through tomorrow. We change it every half hour.
What do we got? 4 minutes left to round.
Yeah,
3 minutes and 27 seconds, Marco.
3 minutes and 27 seconds.
Where's
I feel like the show's back, guys. I feel like we're back. We took a hiatus for probably about a month and a half. Let's be honest.
We're back. Beckham's baptized.
Yeah.
Pepper Johnson's on the phone.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Beckham has found the Lord.
Yep.
Yeah.
Baptized Beckham. Hashtag baptized Beckham.
Beckham doesn't get, like, some people get baptized, like, in, Reading, Pennsylvania.
Nope.
And Beckham's like, fuck it, I'm going to Jerusalem.
Nope, do it the real way.
I'm out.
Yep.
I'm going to take a red eye to Jerusalem.
He found Jesus, so, hey, he should be good now.
I just think it's amazing that he's trying to get a contract and there's the baptism. I mean,
I do whatever
anybody else
for $20 million a year.
Anybody else see that as a real desperate way to try to get $20 million?
Hey,
throw me in.
If that's all I had to do is dunk my head in the water,
you could drown me.
That's fine.
Drown me. As long as I could write up the paperwork that the $20 million goes to my kids, you could drown me for all I care. And I don't even need a multi-year deal. Just the 1 year at $20 million. Drown me.
There you go. That's gonna be our fan contract. This when we get onto the morning show.
Is that the,
you get a 1 year deal. At the end of the 1 year, you get drowned.
So, oh my God, is that? Oh my God, I gotta send you guys this video. Oh, it's hysterical. I think it's DRC.
What do you do now?
He's in a. I think it's him. He's in a Power Rangers costume and he smacks.
Oh, and he's doing the kiki. She's doing the kiki. Yeah.
Is that him? Or is that someone like?
Yeah, I don't know who it is, but it was. I saw that a couple of weeks ago.
Oh my God, he is a maniac. I think that's him.
I think it's him too.
I know he had a Red Ranger power suit, and he was always on Snapchat with the Red paint. Maybe he went Blue Ranger now.
Well, you know what? Now that Sam Beal got hurt, DRC can come back again.
Oh, here we go. We should ask Pep if he wants to come back.
he's sorry.
Oh, easy. Is Kelvin Munson got his number?
35 seconds, gentlemen.
All right. Are we going to